Supposed biblical error. Did Mark get the order of cities wrong around Jerusalem? Mark 11:1 says, "Now when they drew near to Jerusalem, to Bethphage and Bethany at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent two of his disciples." Now upon reading this, it doesn't sound like much of an issue. But if you're traveling west from Jericho to Jerusalem, you would actually pass Bethany first, then Bethphage. So some claim Mark stated the wrong order in chapter 11 and has it backwards. Now if you're like me and wondering if anyone could be so nitpicky as to raise such an objection, I give you Randall Helms, who says, anyone approaching Jerusalem from Jericho would come first to Bethany and then Bethphage, not the reverse. This is one of several passages showing that Mark knew little about Palestine. So skeptics actually raise this as an issue and use it to say that Mark is not a reliable source. Of course, all it takes is an ounce of critical thinking to show this objection is absurd. Mark doesn't say they first came to Bethphage, then Bethany. He is just telling us the approximate area Jesus was in when he sent two of his disciples ahead. And both cities were on the eastern side of the Mount of Olives, about a half a mile from each other. They are clearly associated with the same general area. I live in Arizona. If I was traveling to the East Coast and I said I was going through Dallas and Fort Worth, would that be clear evidence I did not understand the geography of the US? Because if you're traveling east, you must realize you get to Fort Worth first before you get to Dallas. Or could it be that just listing two cities very close to each other doesn't mean I'm stating which one I would enter first? I'm just talking about the general area I'm traveling through. So let's use a little common sense with this verse. Mark is not saying they got to Bethphage first. He is listing the general area Jesus was in when he sent two disciples off. Thus, this supposed error can be resolved.
Alright, so this is just but interesting because there are some people highlighting, but I assume from the book about questioning the gospel, who wrote the gospel, I assume he questioned the whole thing, even the gospel, right? And meaning that the author of the gospel do not know, etc., etc. So I assume he's not a Christian. And the argument is what? Because interestingly, when geography comes in, the word Palestine will come in as well, right? Because that's the region. For example, here, right? Mark knew a little about Palestine. So interesting, because because some Christian actually says, "What are you talking about Palestine? Palestine never exists," etc. I'm not sure if you ever encounter those kind of people, but there are people that says there's no such thing as Palestine to begin with, etc., etc. Right? But generally, if you look at people describing that area, that name have been used for however long that. Anyway, so that's beside the point. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time.